We now have the Ukrainian forces who've come out and said that they've liberated the southeastern village from Russian control. The deputy defense minister has come out and confirmed that. The village appeared to be the 9th recaptured one by the Ukrainian side just this month. It's in the early stages of a counteroffensive, which the Ukrainian forces have signaled that the main push is yet to come. Listen in to what President Volodymyr Zelensky had to say.
Today is the front, Donetsk region, Zaporizhia. Our soldiers are advanced positions and directions of active actions at the front. Today, in all directions, our soldiers had an advance, and it is a happy day. I wish the boys more days like this. I was with the units of Khoritsia, which distinguished themselves in the Battle of Bakhmut. Heroically distinguished themselves. Well done, warriors. Then our Marines, very powerful, very neat. Thank you for trying to protect the lives of our soldiers. Then in Tavria, the south, the front, a busy day, a lot of emotions.
Advances being made by the Ukrainian forces, something that the president has also come out and lauded, which is why he handed out awards to the troops and posed for selfies with these soldiers when he visited the eastern region of Donetsk. President office did not say when Zelensky made the visit, but he had met the units of the strategic group that was on ground, including soldiers who have fought Russian troops in the Bakhmut sector, where battles have been extremely intense. The first of the two videos that was posted by Zelensky and his office showed the president handing out awards at an undisclosed indoor location. And then we saw him with several other people, even at a gas station, who lined up to take pictures with him.
Everyone in the country understands. So you know, those who are not on the front line, everyone understands perfectly that you are doing the most difficult work today. And everyone knows that eastern direction is very difficult. It's very hot and long. That's why I am convinced that it's precisely you that are greatly contributing to our future victory. Glory to the heroes.
Now, Sanjay, has this past weekend and Russia's troubles as far as the Wagner Group is concerned has given an edge militarily to Ukraine, or is this just about optics, the kind of claims that are being made of advances?
Well, this is very much more than optics. Look at the very simple broad facts staring us in the face. What Putin has done is that he's got rid of the only fighting force in the Russian army that succeeded. And it succeeded in Bakhmut, it succeeded in a bloody and determined way, but it succeeded. And he has kept in place the generals, the minister who have led Russia to one defeat after another from Kiev, from Kharkiv, from Kherson. Those are the generals that have led Russia to one reversal after another. They are still in place. The only force that Ukrainians feared to an extent, and they were very, very careful about and very watchful of, have been the Wagner Group, and that has now disappeared. Wagner is off the scene. Prigozhin is somewhere, we don't know where, but he's been neutralized, he's been finished politically and militarily. His force has been scattered, they are leaderless, they're gone. So the one fighting force that the Ukrainians feared most has been removed. And not least, Putin has clearly been weakened by this. So all this is good news in Ukraine.
Absolutely, which is why we had the president handing out those medals and awards as well, and a post of appreciation coming to the fore from the Ukrainian government, given that this war has dragged on for much, much longer than Russia anticipated. Russia thought this was a job to be done overnight, perhaps within a few weeks. But Sanjay, the Ukrainian forces have not only stayed put for 16 long months, they've actually put up an extremely tough resistance for the Russian forces.
Well, they put up that resistance from day one. We saw the first push was towards Kiev, and the Russian forces came to the doorsteps of Kiev, and they were pushed back not through NATO weaponry or NATO ammunition or anything, just local bunches of determined people. And I met several of them. They simply used home-use drones to get the position of the Russian military. They conveyed that to their own forces. Very critically, 2 or 3 bridges were then blown up by the military, and that halted the Russians. That's all it took to stop these mighty Russians. Then you had the Russians forced out of Kharkiv, and the Russian claim has been that Kharkiv is Russian speaking, which it is, but Russian speaking is not the same as Russian loyal. Well, Zelensky is Russian speaking, he certainly is not loyal to Putin. And then we saw in Kherson the advance from all sides, and the Russians retreated to the other side of the river, and there are signs that they are retreating further from there. So really this has been one setback after another for the Russians, and the ones who have led Russia into this setback continue to be in place.
Right, so as far as gaining ground is concerned, Ukraine has managed to do that in particular areas. As far as the Kherson region is concerned, that's also one of the regions that you've visited when you were in Ukraine not too long ago. It's also one of those areas which was reeling under severe flooding after we saw the explosion at the particular dam. What is the kind of situation there now in that particular region?
We have some reports, and we are awaiting confirmation that at one or two points the Ukrainian forces may have crossed the Dnipro river, and that would be dramatic. The Dnipro is a very wide, fast flowing river. It was the strongest defense that the Russians had against any advancing Ukrainians, and if the Ukrainians have managed to breach that, that could be very serious for the Russian forces. And Kherson region to the east, that is where you have the connection going down to Crimea in the south. And that is an area that Russia is determined to control after having captured it in 2014. We have that bridge that was attacked in October of last year, and we have a landline, that is a land route that is running through the region around Kherson. And if the Ukrainian forces were to advance convincingly in Kherson region, that could not only be a setback for the Russians in Kherson, slightly in the north in Zaporizhia as well, by dissecting their forces, but also threaten Russian control of Crimea. This has to be watched very carefully because Ukrainian advances so far have been minimal, but then these are early days.